tours such as this, because most Barbadians are unaware that, for example, that sugarcane breeding started in Barbados, and that the sugarcane breeding station in Barbados is regarded so highly by breeders around the world because they don't even know we're here is or that we exist. So this type of tour will kind of help in that regard to make people more aware. The fact that sugarcane produced seed was discovered in Barbados by a worker on a sugarcane plantation. He was weeding and saw that the grass didn't look like grass, it looked like cane. It was sugarcane seedlings. He drew to the attention of the manager, and to verify that it was actually cane growing from the fuzz that had fallen in the field, they replanted it to see that it will actually grow and become cane, and it wasn't just grass that looked like cane. I think that if you have an asset like the fact that sugarcane produces seed was discovered here, things like that should be taught in school. So no one should have to know that we exist to know that. No one should have to know that we exist to know why John Redwood Mavell is on your $2 bill. In 1932 was the first time that we actually, under the Barbados Department of Agriculture, started producing sugarcane varieties for the rest of the region. Because of course we were all British colonies at the time, and here was the center for sugarcane breeding for the British colonies.
Well, I was really surprised today to find out that sugarcane was actually started in Barbados in the 1880s and in the other Caribbean islands as well.
So because we started that type of program, we were then able to re-establish dominance in the international breeding arena, simply because everybody else was still based on 5 and 2, and we were based on 180. So essentially people from across the world started seeking now association with cane breeding station to try to get genetic material for their breeding programs.
This is
about 10 years ago, when Jacques Albertinet from Bukete was here working in Barbados, before we were in this place, he suggested when people were first suggesting that the Barbados industry is in such severe decline that it will soon close down, he was like, but sugarcane in Barbados is more than sugar production. Unlike other places that have grass and forest and so on, sugarcane is the custodian of your countryside. Barbados only has concrete and sugarcane. You don't have countryside and trees and forests and whatever. And what he suggested was, well, what can we do to the lands? We can't just abandon them because it will deplete the tourist value of Barbados, because one of the things is the driving about in the landscape and whatever. And that is when he first proposed, given that we have this high fiber material, it might be lower maintenance than sugarcane and not need all the infrastructure. Can we then grow it to occupy the space, it needs less management, and then use it for energy? Far too often, we rely on the government for everything. I think, well, yes, they have a role because obviously they guide the education process, but places like we have Ministry of Culture, that's their job. If this is something that is important to our heritage, then this is something they should have in their little, or when you have things like independence, and in those, the people who are responsible, CBC, the government can't do everything. There are people who give us information at critical periods like at independence, or teachers at schools in social studies and history and whatever, and these things should be a part of the curriculum so that it is not something external to the system that someone now has to come and teach.
Okay. But it's very informative because I live in Barbados and cousin living through St. George, but this is my first time in the breeding station and in the cotton market, so I learned something new today.